The school season might be out, but this school season is always on. From the guys who made Arrested Development and has an obsession with the 80s, comes with the age-old question, what happens when a typical school stereotypes becomes the teacher? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. What's up, everyone? It's your boy G, and what makes this short-lived TV show with some of the Arrested Development cast that I want to shine a light on, because I know Fox would never do it. Well, let's find that out. So sit back, grab your number 2 firearm. It's time to sit down and shut up.
How about you send those dirty glasses through the car wash? Hot wax. Next customer.
Ennis, what the
So I know you're asking, what the hell is Sit Down, Shut Up? Well, it's an American adult animated TV series developed by Mitchell Hurwitz for Fox. The series focuses on a group of high school teachers who follows the 80s high school tropes. They live in a small town in Florida and they can care less about teaching. And they pretty much let you know off rip. The series premiered on April 19, 2009 in the animation domination block for Fox. But after 4 episodes, Fox removed the show due to low ratings. The remaining 9 episodes aired on Saturday nights a year after the show was premiered, and after the show was quietly canceled on November 21, 2009, leaving a young me hungry for more. And that's no joke. I was somewhat of a big fan of this show, and honestly, I think it was the art style, being a mix of real life backgrounds with cartoon characters interacting somewhat like how Gumball does it these days, and with the school actually being a real life school called Eagle Rock High School. I'm telling you right now, this is a super underrated style. Wish more shows does this. But why did Mitchell chose this type of style? Well, he said once in an interview, it's just an aesthetic thing. My dude just said it's for the vibes. And after he saw the Mo Williams book, Nuffle Bunny, in a bookstore, he quickly contacted Williams to get started on the character designs and quickly got on with the show. And what I find cool is that the images that was used for the school background was taken next door to the Rough Draft Studios where the series was developing. Hurwitz chose the Rough Draft Studio as a series animation studio because Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein had a great experience with the studio working on Futurama. And on March 2009, creator Hurwitz and the cast was presented at WonderCon to promote the show. Hurwitz then told the audience that they had just received the first piece of the show back from the animation studio from South Korea, and they showed the first clip to the audience. And is there any evidence of this clip? Don't know, couldn't find it. Is this lost media? Maybe. But did you know that Sit Down and Shut Up was a brainchild of Mitchell after he got the idea after watching Sit Down and Shut Up? Wait, what the hell? Let me explain. You see, the show is a take from a 2001 Australian show with the same name. And I did not notice until I was making this video. The Australian version follows the lives of 8 teachers at Kaplan Heights Secondary College. Other than the title, the both shows don't have that much in common. Oh, and some characters do show first names, such as Sue, Stuart, and Helen. I'm gonna deduct some points to Mitchell for creativity when it comes to names. But let's talk about the main cast of the show. We do follow 9 school staff members, and these are some pretty amazing voice actors for each of the characters. Really puts life into some of these characters, most than others. Like for starters, we have Larry Littlejohn, played by Jason Bateman. Larry is your typical straight man character who for pretty much everyone else in the show. And later in the season, Larry will be that whiny teacher who just wants the students to learn but often gets backtracked by other teachers. You see, I guess they try to make Larry as the main character, but sometimes it falls short on how boring he usually gets. Especially when you have teachers like the hippie science teacher like Miracle Grow, which is the eye candy of the show, and I guess you could say the love interest. But since this is an episodic series, Larry and Miracle hook up time to time, but she is a free spirit, and hell, the way she's been written in the show, she probably has a love field like Francine for American Dad.
But you were my last.
All of these?
It's not that many.
And in the show, she does play off as the ditzy blonde. She does have a son named Mert, who I assume the father was a drummer, but sadly her kid is just representing how bad of a mother she is, like how her mom used to be to her. That's literally the whole joke about Mert. But I could give her a pass. I can't lie, she was one of my cartoon crushes back then. Move over, Lola Bunny. I want some of that hippie. And it's amazing how she got her job, being able to get it by using her body and looks, and allegedly was going to be principal, but didn't want to be gritty, according to her. But in short, Miracle's a glowing ball of positivity wrapped in fringe scars and a brain full of stardust, and a degree from somewhere that definitely doesn't exist. And somehow she's still one of the more competent faculty members. Kinda makes you think about the rest of the cast, like the English teacher Ennis Hofstadter, who's basically Quagmire and BoJack Horseman, and that's because he's voiced by the horse himself. He's the kind of guy who thinks emotional intelligence is just a cologne and boundaries is just a suggestion. But what I like about Ennis is that he has more character than he seems. We get glimpses of his past being raised by a military parent, so he plays off the macho man persona, but deep down this dude's one bad day from a cry from hell. He even has a mental emotional support kit that will back him down from things that can turn out bad. They tend to reuse this gag a few episodes in. It doesn't overstay its welcome, unlike Mr. Conway himself. But unlike Ennis, we have teachers like Willard, who's the show's punching bag, the Meg of the show. It's fitting since this is a Fox show, but as the punching bag, they really give it to him, to the point where the whole joke is that he's broke, nearly homeless, or in some cases is homeless, fat, and repulsive. Hell, he even makes Bill and Zoidberg look like Archer in comparison. But while being a pushover, he does have a lot of funny moments in the show, like when he goes back in time to get some alcohol, he accidentally meets a certain failed artist just for him to call him a sucker, but can't get any more weirder than that. Willard is voiced by the legend himself, the Fonz, aka Henry Winkler. And man, I couldn't choose a better actor himself. I think it's the way how Henry has that soft voice that actually makes Willard more seem like a pushover than others. And some of his delivery jokes is just spot on. Next, I'm gonna talk about two at the same time because they kinda are a 2-in-1 package. That being Helen and Andrew. These two motherfuckers are just haters and kind of beyond one note, with Helen being the angry librarian whose one joke is that she's so ugly no matter what she does, and Andrew, the art teacher whose only joke that he's selfish and gay. Hey, don't look at me, this show came out in 2010s. But funny enough is that Andrew is voiced by Nick Kroll, the creator of Big Mouth, who also has a character named Andrew. In short, these two are boring, and Mr. Ambrose from Bob's Burgers literally does both and better than both of them. Explain that. But speaking of overly offensive characters who's voiced by Tom Kenny, this is Happy, the janitor, and is the foreign character, you know, the ones that who usually misunderstands common stuff or is misunderstood due to the fact that he can't speak English and due to the fact that this is a post Al-Qaeda time. So most of the jokes is mostly you're different, so you must be up to something cliches. But you know what's always weird to me is how in the first few episodes, Happy will talk in a foreign language but will be translated by a British guy, and then randomly he just started speaking English. That always threw me off. And like I said earlier, he was voiced by SpongeBob himself. You know, if I had a nickel for every time that Tom Kenny is in a role that deals with the Middle East people in an offensive fashion, I would have 2 nickels. Not a lot, but kind of crazy that that happens.
You want me to sponge up all of the urine in America and then squeeze myself over Saddam Hussein's mouth?
But do I prefer the dub version of Happy or the sub version of Happy? And honestly, I prefer the dub. Give me Tom Kenny. I never really liked the British dude anyway. Kind of found that annoying. Speaking about being voiced by a dude, let's talk about the no-nonsense principal Sue Cesno, who's voiced by Kenan Thompson and is one of the actors I knew off rip who it was while watching it back then. But her character is pretty much the buzzkill principal who tends to go overboard to get her way. Like there is an episode where she ditches the teachers in the desert and heads to Washington to put the blame on them for the low test scores so they could get replaced. And side note, is that how that really works? Wouldn't it be simple just to blame the person on top of the pyramid instead of going down? But I digress. But what's there to say about her? She knows what she wants, and I love that for her. And honestly, I can't lie, her lines are pretty funny, especially in the series canon. She's the new principal since the last one left and had the vice principal take over for a while. But let's talk about the best for last. This is Stu, and I will argue that this is one of the best characters in the show, being voiced by Abe from Clone High and plays the wild card in the show. And man, Stewart steals the show when he's on screen. Like the showrunners knew who to have on. And even though they use him as some zany sidekick for Larry, even made him do some wild things, he plays out pretty well with every other character in the show, even gaining a sidekick with Happy in some episodes. But why does his character work so much? I think it has to do with the show writers just winging it and knowing the character at the same time. And I think he plays off better with Sue since they are opposites in personality. Even having Stu trying to impress her, but for her to just be dismissive about it. He does have funnier moments with others, like helping Ennis get a heart attack. Don't ask. But in a show with a bunch of teachers, they tend to be the forefront of a lot of things in the community. Like for instance, since they live in Florida, there's a hurricane and they use the gym to hold people. But it quickly backfires when Stuart doesn't install stronger glass, leaving Sue to get knocked out and having Willow be lethal, only for him to get drunk with power and having to save the whole town. These things we won't see teachers do, but why didn't this show last longer than the Sparking Zero hype? Well, we'll find that out after this.
Okay, that was the problem. Yes, this is much sweeter.
Ah! The assistant principal!
Oh, that's just me in the window.
The assistant principal!
So like I said, this show only lasted a season, with only 4 episodes being aired before Fox pulled the plug, only for the rest to be dropped a year later. But why? Well, they say it's for low ratings, and I think that's just a nice way of saying it didn't blow up like The Simpsons. Like a lot of other TV networks, if it doesn't reach the level of the moneymaker in the first episode, they tend to call it quits. But just to throw in the vote and never talk about it again, until some YouTuber dusts it off and gives it some light. But what's interesting is that this show came out around the time where Fox would drop new animated shows back to back just to call it after one season. You know, your Napoleon Dynamite, your Alan Gregory's, Border Towns, Axe Cop, shows just to make a quick buck. Question is, can Sit Down and Shut Up make some type of return? And I say hell no. As much of a fan I am, there is no demand, and I think that's fine. It's one of those shows that should just be left in time when it came out, and I advise y'all to check it out. Y'all might like it, and it might become a cult classic like all the other greats. So in conclusion, did anything change while doing a rewatch of this show? No, not really. I still really enjoyed this show, and being able to catch some of the jokes, it's like I'm rewatching all over again. And I think this show has some great rewatchability moments. Hell, what got me to do this video is someone posted an episode on TikTok and it activated a memory in my head like I was some sleeper agent. But that's gonna be it for the video, everyone. Did you watch this show, or is this the first time you've been hearing about it? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Oh yeah, also I'm working on a long video for the next one, so stay tuned. And would I bang Miracle's brains out? Yes I would. So till the next one.
This is ironic.
You tell him you're a coward! He'll eat you alive like some sort of wussy shit!
I'm the couple who can't keep their hands off each other.
I'm pretty sure I can take you, sweetie pie. Don't make me hurt you.
I love you, Spence.
Man, irrational man.
God, what a cuckoo time that must have been.
Peace.
I can't be the first teacher to put some jello down his pants.
Yeah, I've got a little chicken down there right now. It's Ella King, but it's chicken.
They're gonna fire me for sure. They always go after the German teacher. Is it my fault German has no non-racist name for black people?